Hello, fellow CSEA members. Welcome back to our second video. We'll be talking about the CalPERS situation, and to give you more information on this, our second VP, Chris Mastrangelo.
Hi everyone, Christopher Mastrangelo, Second Vice President, CSEA Chapter 517, Irvine. Thanks again for tuning into the video. We're going to do a little bit of a in-depth coverage on the CalPERS Divisor issue that was mentioned. So what we're going to be covering is what is the problem, how CalPERS calculates the divisor used for pension service credit, what actually changed, and specifically a CalPERS board ruling on the subject matter. What is the district's proposed solution and the member impact? And what is CSEA's proposed solution and why we believe it is the right one? So to start off with, what is the problem? So the problem is that there is a discrepancy between the divisor used, which is essentially the number of hours in a month to report pension service credit with CalPERS. CalPERS has a divisor. They've long had a number that they use, and the district was informed that they are out of compliance with it. So we can go on the CalPERS website, and by the way, the links will all be in the description, but we can go on the CalPERS website and you can see here, they have it documented, that the divisor or conversion factor that they use is 173.3333 hours per month. And that represents the average number of work hours in a month based on a 40-hour work week. And that's because some months have 1 day plus or minus, right? Not every month has the exact number of days, but on average, they have 173 hours per month. And so they also state, the logic down here as well. 40 hours per week times 52 weeks per year divided by 12 months per year, and that's where you get the 173.3333 hours per month. So going back here, just to review again, so how does CalPERS calculate the divisor used for pension service credit? So again, they start with 40 hours in a full-time work week, and then they use 52 weeks in a year, and they multiply 40 times 52, and that gives a total of 2,080 hours in a year. And if you take that 2,080 hours and you divide by 12 months in a year, you get 173.3333. So the discrepancy is that the hourly rate doesn't equal the monthly rate when multiplying by this 173 divisor on the IUSD salary schedule. The monthly rate is less than it would be if using the 173.3333 conversion factor that CalPERS requires. And we can see that if we pull up the salary schedule. So there's a few different ways you can get to it. You can go to CSEA Chapter 517.com and click on Contract. And if you scroll down far enough, I already have it here, you'll see it in there. It's pretty far down, but I just wanted you to be aware how you could find it. The other way you can find it is if you just Google IUSD salary schedule. It's pretty much the first thing that comes up on the IUSD website, and you can click on Classified Salary Schedule, and it will just bring you to the salary schedule. So this side is the monthly, and this side is the hourly. And if we look, I'm just going to go with range 30, step 6, since it's close to the middle here. So if we take the hourly rate at step 6 for range 30, which is $39.13, if we multiply that by the CalPERS Divisor, so 39.137 times 173.3333, you can see that the number you get here, $6,783.75 if we round, does not equal the $6,575 for range 30 at step 6. Obviously, this number is greater. And so that's where the inconsistency lies. The district is not using the 173.33333 divisor, and that is what CalPERS requires. So then you might ask, well, what divisor is the district using? So we can kind of figure that out by working backwards. At range 30, step 6, again, the pay rate was $6,575 for the monthly. And if we divide that by 39.137, which was the hourly, you get 168. So the district is using 168 as its conversion factor or divisor. And that is what CalPERS is saying that they will not accept. So if 173.33333 is used for 40 hours a week, then how many hours in a week would a conversion factor of 168 equal? So we can, if we recall, 173.3333 times 12 equals 2,080 hours in a year. If we multiply 168 by 12, we get 2,016 hours in a year. If we divide 2,016 hours in a year by 52 weeks in a year, we get 38.77 hours per week. So someone that is full-time 40 hours is effectively getting compensated for 38.77 hours based on the hourly pay rate. So the next topic is what changed. And it was, I think, reported that there was a law changed, but as far as we are aware, and we've consulted with CSEA and CSEA labor reps and legal, and to our knowledge and what we've been informed of, there was no law changed. The pension law has been the same, and the 173 conversion factor has been the same for a very long time. But CalPERS discovered that some districts were out of compliance, and it decided to enforce that. There was a case where one district challenged it, and initially they won the case, but then it was appealed to the CalPERS board, and the CalPERS board issued a ruling and overturned that and said that the 1.73 had to be used. The way you can think of it, I guess, is the CalPERS board is kind of the authority on this matter, on the pension law, kind of like how Congress, creates the FAA to regulate the skies and air traffic, because you need, experts that understand the rules and whatnot. And so in the state of California, the CalPERS board is the regulatory authority that can make those decisions. So they issued their ruling and issued a circular letter informing districts that they have to comply with the correct reporting divisor. So we can look at that ruling, and again, the links will be in the description, but so this is on the CalPERS website, and this was the final decision, and essentially it was a very similar scenario where this district had a higher hourly rate. If you took the hourly rate and multiplied it by the 173 conversion factor, the monthly rate did not match. It was not high enough to match the hourly rate. And what the CalPERS board found was that the hourly rate for the classified employees was the true base rate of pay, because it was used to determine things like overtime, which if you have received overtime at IUSD and you check your pay stub, you'll be able to see that the overtime rate is based on the hourly rate on our salary schedule multiplied by 1.5. So a very similar situation, and CalPERS ruled that the hourly rate of pay was the true rate of pay, and therefore the 173 divisor had to be used. They also on page 18, it was noteworthy that CalPERS said that school districts need a consistent conversion factor. So you can't use different divisors or conversion factors depending on, some people being full-time 40 hours and some people being 20 hours and some people being 25 hours. You can't use different conversion factors for them. So it has to be consistent. And then the final thing was obviously just the ruling and the order from CalPERS was that the 173.33333 conversion factor had to be used. So they are investigating and looking at implementing something where they would make an amendment on the salary schedule for hourly employees to say that for the employees that work less than 40 hours, that they would be only part of their pay would count towards their CalPERS pension credit, and then the other part would not count towards it. So obviously we are continuing to kind of look into this, and not just us, but CSEA and their experts. But that was what we were initially told their plan was, and of course the member impact of that would be that those people that are less than 40 hours would then receive less credit towards their pension and a lower pension ultimately in the future. So that would be the member impact. So what is CSEA's proposed solution? Our proposed solution is that the 173.3333 conversion factor should be used. That divisor should be used and to make the salary schedule consistent. So in other words, if you were to multiply this 39.137 by 173.33333, it would give you a number on this side, on the monthly side, that if you were to divide by that 173.33333, it would equal this amount. And we believe, for several reasons, that this is the right solution. First, it is in compliance with what CalPERS requires. And complying with that will prevent the district from getting audited, potentially receiving fines, and having to deal with a whole lot of problems. So, but additionally, probably more importantly, this hourly rate is the hourly rate that we I think agree that we measure. The unit of measurement for work is in terms of time is hours. So if you say that a certain rate of pay per hour is what we've agreed on, it's not consistent to say that after a certain amount of hours that pay rate goes down. So that would make this salary schedule internally inconsistent, and that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There's people in particular jobs that they're in the same job classification, but one is full-time 40 hours and one is less than that, and they would be getting paid at different hourly rates, and we inquired about this, and that is the case. So we believe that's inconsistent and should be fixed. And finally, there is some challenges, at least what we were told, with implementing the district solution, and so that's why they're still investigating it with Orange County Department of Ed to see if their payroll reporting software can accommodate it. But regardless of that fact, it's just the right thing to do to make it consistent across the board. So that is the information that we currently have, and obviously we're still learning a little bit more. As we do learn more, we'll definitely share it with you. I know this was a little bit longer of a video. We hope that they won't all be this long, but this subject is fairly complex. We had to, come up to speed on it ourselves. So appreciate your time, and stay tuned for more, and drop us a comment or reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye.